Welcome to Tech Ranch, a place where we learn and earn technical skills in the most efficient way. Let's make coding fun. Java Swing Graphical User Interface API, Basic Analog 2D Clock. Today we are going to present you a live demonstration and implementation of Basic Analog 2D Clock, implemented using Java Swing Graphical User Interface API. Before we get into the live implementation, let's first see what our features we are going to implement in basic analog 2D clock application. Analog clock can be implemented many ways. Here I'm going to show you one of the very basic and simple implementation for clock application. This implementation divided into three parts. First, we'll see the very basic components like dials and the hours, minutes, second, hands for the clock, as you can see. And we are going to have a frame, and that frame will have these seconds, minutes, and hours, hands. The next we'll have the paint method, where we are going to create the graphics for the clock and put some controls that will implemented and show the difference and the animations based related to the clock, the current time zone and everything mentioned in that particular API. It will also have the coordinates customized clock feature. Now, clock engine basically thread to control. So we are going to implement the multi-threading to display and read the time after calculation, like 60 minutes and 12 hours and 60 seconds to reset and goes to the next number. Now let's take a look at the demonstration, and this is what the execution will look like, where we have the black dial and the black frame and white hands and seconds and minutes and hours hands and the number display. You can change it. I will present you in the demonstration. Now let's take a look at the implementation. This is my Eclipse ID, and here is my Swing demo application, and this package I'm just including my class clock underscore tr. I want the main method, and this is my class. And here I'm going to write down, first thing is my clock extends the JFrame. And once this is done, let's have our hands for hours and minutes and seconds integer type, and it will supposed to be publicly defined in the class. Now there is one called clock dial, which we are going to use here in this class and creating an object of that class. Now next step is we need to create our construct, and inside the constructor we are going to write our code. Set size, giving the size of the frame 510, some random coordinates, and set the default close operations so that you can have a window constants dot exit on close. You can have more features included in this to give a different light look and feel. That is also possible here. We'll see that. This operator get content panel and clock dial object, and date current equals new date constructor, date string time equals current dot to string hour need to parse it with the primitive type of integer dot substring and give some numbers. And similarly for minutes, basically it is reading the time and keeping it in a variables. Now next we need to make the engine. The clock engine set priority. So we are going to implement the clock engine after and get priority. That is for the calculation and reading, and then reading and displaying the time accordingly. So we are going to implement the clock engine soon, and then you will see how it works. Now inside the main method, all we need to call our constructor. There are so many ways you can implement this type of analog clock. Here I'm just showing something very simple and basic implementation. Nothing fancy. Even you can change it a little different way. So here is our clock engine implementation, which is basically nothing but the new thread. And this thread implemented in a new second, new minute. Since every second and minute changing and counting and changing the hours, so we need to make sure our clock is running and counting all the seconds and calculating the hours and minutes and seconds. So modulo 60. So because after every 60 seconds it will be one more minute, and then the new minute will be equals to your minute, the old minute plus second plus 1, and then divided into 60, because after every 60 minutes it will be one more hour, and again divided into 60 for computing and find out the modulo of the 12 hour. So new minute, and similarly for hour equals to hour plus minute plus second plus 1 divided into 60 divided into 60 and for hour modulo, and then I'm sure I missed so many brackets here, so this is for modulo 60. Okay, once the calculation of all the hours and seconds are done, the next we need to assign the new sec and new second equals to new second, and minutes to new minutes. And once this is done, then let's have the try and catch clause or thread implementation, which will have basically sleep 1000 and close to the catch and catch the exception if it is interrupted exception. Next, we need to repaint it and implement the graphics for our clock. The logic is implemented. Now next we need to make while, and this close to your run, and this close to your thread. You need to close the thread. This makes it easier. Now next, once the thread is implemented, next step is we need to create the class of clock dial that extends your J panel. And here we have the clock parent, and then clock dial, and the clock underscore tr pointer object. Now it's showing error because we need to include the package. And next what we need to do is here implement the class and give some random size coordinates 520 and 530 for the frame and the dial. Parent equals to pg. Just reassigning the object. Once this is done, we need to implement the paint component. Paint. Here is the argument of graphics, and this graphics might need to import some package. So let's take a look. There you go. Now once the graphics is imported, now next let's start. You can find all the color here. Suppose I found the black or the frame. Now once the frame is colored, J will rect. Coordinates we need to give 0, 0 and get width for size and for height. You can get it. G dot set color. Once the frame is done, now next we need to color your border of your clock. So let's make it white and let's fill it up. Fill the oval and give the coordinates of oval is like 5, 480 and size and width and height 480. You can change it. So these are the graphic control. You can do it at your end and make it more customized. J set color and oval is done. Now next we need to do the dial inside the clock. So let's give that color black again. You can give blue, or let's make it blue for just for demo. It will look little bright. And the inside the circle of the clock will be blue now here. Now we need to give the coordinates. So G dot fill oval again, and coordinates will be 10, 10 and 10 before. So we need to count the numbers from the 480 we made last time. Now this time 470. Now the Color is done. Now next we need to color the hands and minute hand and hour hand. So for that we need a border, offset, color, white. And then we need to give the this time coordinates will be a little different and little odd to make it. Now once this is done, G.set font. We need to set the font family, then how it print the time. So for that, what you can do, you can just derive it and get it from the API. But you can mention it what font family and style do you want. Like I want to make it bold and bright because it's a clock. That is preferred to see the time clearly. And let's have a loop, for loop for changing the time after 12 hours. String, integer, dot to string, parse it into string, and once this is done, the next argument will be your number. Which number is changing to which number? Which number is changing to which number? Calculating your clock and the location of your hour, like 60 degree, 90 degree, 45 degree, whenever the moves, create an animation. Pi divided by 6, because the 6 is the quarters of all the clock, multiples of 6. It can be implemented many ways. This is just one of the implementation. Very simple. We're using the Next is second hand. So basically this is the formula, this is the equation you need to use to calculate the seconds and our hand. And find out the degree. This is the same for another coordinate. The only difference is going to be subtraction instead of addition. And cosine method. And this is supposed to be. Now we are going to draw a line to create a hands. So for that, just create a G dot draw line. And we need to give the coordinates of draw line is 255, 255, Tx, next, so hold on. Okay. Next we need to make minute hand. This was the second hand. Now we need to make minute hand and how our hand is. So this was a second hand. Now to make it very simple, I'm going to just use the same equation and manipulate it based on it. Minute hand, Tx equals to 245 plus int, supposed to be 210 is already done, so we need to make it 190 because minute is going to be changed. And sine parent second, since it is a minute, so we are calculating for minute, and that's it. And similarly for the y coordinate, the only thing is different is your subtraction, no change. So this will be 190. That's it. Now once this is done, x points array need to update equals to 245. What will happen if when the time change accordingly, we need to change the other readings. So for that we need to recompute it. Px plus 2. Okay, x points for next coordinate will be your Tx minus 0. And similarly for y point. So what will happen here? Y points Px minus 2, 245, and another y point. This will be dy minus 2, dy plus 2, and this one will be dy minus 2. So now once this is done, the same thing going to be happen, and the next is we need to fill polygon x points and y points. Okay. Next we need to create our hand just like this. So I'm going to copy this code and retype it again. The changes accordingly. So for minute we did it. Now for second, the only thing was making a difference here is your 245 plus int Instead of 190, since it is already calculated, it will be 160. Math sign parent hour multiplied by our degree, because we need to calculate the degree, plus parent dot minute dot math dot pi divided by 360 for our catch. It's showing some error. Now we need to check. The same formula is going to apply for y coordinate. The only difference is going to be subtraction. So I'm just going to copy this and here and making it minus and cosine. Now here x points will be your 2 coordinates only. So here we need to have, this is already static, so this is not going to be used. And here we need to subtract and division by 4 plus 2. So this is the execution. Now what you can do, you can change the color and see and make it more customized. I'll make it blue. You have so many other colors. So this will change your frame, not the dial. You see? And if you want to make the dial black, so white can make black, and just make it orange. You see the execution? You can color it and make it more customized clock. Some bright colors. Now, so this was a very simple analog clock implemented using Swing Graphical User Interface API. Now practice project for homework. To get a hands-on experience to develop such clock application, you can practice making basic digital clock implemented using Java Swing Graphical User Interface API. So let's take a look at the small demonstration on it. Like this, digital clock. So here you can see the seconds, hours, minutes and seconds, and mentioning the AM and PM to specify the time. So this was the demonstration for basic digital clock implemented in Java Swing. These type of clock application can be integrated in many useful real-time practice project applications like calendar, reminder, timer, especially such features to kids control access and devices, or games application where we need to put the timer. So for any kind of assistance on questions and concerns and source code needed, please feel free to contact techranch2019@gmail.com. Please subscribe to our channel and stay tuned for more upcoming interesting and informative sessions. Thank you so much for all your support. Keep learning and let's make coding fun. Thank you.